You're now listening to the Open Africa podcast with Laolu, Nosa, and Furo. On this episode of the Open Africa podcast, we will be talking about a lot of different things because we have been badly behaved and we haven't recorded in a while. And a lot of things have happened as well. So,
Plenty things.
Plenty problems.
So I'll just say the tech ecosystem there's been a lot of exciting, positively and negatively exciting things happening in the ecosystem.
Problem. Another problem.
Are we in a music recording studio or a podcast recording? Thank you. To kick us off, maybe we'll start with some bad news.
Because now bad news full everywhere for you.
Alerzo recently announced, or it was broke in the news, that Alerzo laid off 600 of their employees. For context, Alerzo is basically I don't even know how to describe it because they're doing so many different things. So
B2B is their main thing.
Yeah, so they started off doing B2B in terms of getting goods from manufacturers to mom and pop shops and sort of managing the entire value chain, so delivery, warehousing, all that good stuff. And then they were also expanding into like obviously providing financial services and all of that, because since they already had the value chain on lock, it made sense to expand and increase their, I guess, share of wallet for these individuals or these businesses. However, recently announced that they have laid off 600 of their employees, I'm assuming, and shut down their warehouses.
In certain places. Yeah.
Comments.
I think the vast majority of that 600 will be like their agents in those warehouses, because I know they have like super massive, like just agents, fulfillment agents really. When you place an order, they call you, just get directions, organize everything and all of that. So if you're shutting down warehouses in the middle of a cash crunch because you're trying to optimize, then everybody who works in that place, from those contractors or those agents to their supervisors, to security men, to cleaner, to everybody who is doing everything, you just have to let them go.
So the thing is, I guess these are some of the effects of the whole CBN overnight cashless drive.
Is it?
I think it definitely impacted their business to some extent, because I want to assume that there's still a lot of cash in those exchanges.
I mean, to be fair, you know that B2B model itself is not exactly, especially when you're not doing it at critical scale, it's not exactly the most profitable model, because they are subsidizing, right? They are subsidizing many things for these merchants. You are buying the product. Okay, so Alerzo is acting as like the key distributor in that B2B value chain. We have an episode on this. We'll plug it in this one. And so they reduce that cost. But by the time you factor in like the cost of fulfillment from the human beings who receive those calls to the actual trucks that make those deliveries, those are costs that they don't pass on
to the
end users, to those merchants, those small businesses, mom and pop shops,
which
that sell those products. Exactly. So it's not hard to imagine that certain warehouses were loss-making. And if you're going to optimize in an area, maybe it's cash crunch, maybe it's the broader economic macros that is affecting other technology companies. Whatever the reason, it just makes sense to just amputate that venture.
Yeah.
But I really it's not just them, really. Everybody is going through it. Cheaper cash, for example, laid off people as well. I'm not sure cash will be the explanation for their own issues.
Fair enough. I think we've been preaching about the awakening in the ecosystem for a minute, and I think like it's still going around. The shockwaves are still going around from company to company. How companies are impacted differs based on, I guess, the sort of setups that they have, and sort of fail safes that they've built into their businesses.
But Nosa, why is cheaper cash laying off?
So the problem, the problem is that economy is tough.
Yes.
So now let's look at it. For cheaper as a product, right? They are not they are not a bank, so they don't hold deposits, and it's not like they can carry deposits. And I mean, maybe if they do this, it's probably illegal activity. But essentially, taking deposits to invest in the markets, like earning interest on deposits, they don't do that, right? So I'm just trying to run through standard bank models. They don't do credit. They earn commissions on bill payments, but they give a significant chunk back as cash
Rewards.
back.
Yeah.
So that part is eroded. I mean, I know how much MTN and Co are paying. So if they tell you, I don't think that they are getting 10% or 5% where it's that they can justify giving out their high cash back. So that's one. P2P. You can't be. I don't really see people using cheaper to pay for day-to-day stuff, everyday stuff. So
You
that
typically
leaves,
go to your day. You have like a daily transacting
yeah.
bank app.
So what you would now be using cheaper for is for cross-border payments and maybe fractional shares and crypto. Crypto is shut off to Nigeria. There are people that were originally grandfathered on because it was available in Nigeria for like a split second, and they got some users before they closed it up to new people. Crypto is only open in Uganda to Ugandan users. Crypto market is also down.
Crypto winter and things.
Crypto winter and
This
things.
is deeper than winter.
And even when it wasn't crypto winter, for the Nigerians, they were selling crypto at less than black market rate. So somehow it was arbitrage. I'm sure they're losing money on that front. Then you now take it to, so that's our shanked crypto. That leaves us with remittance. I don't think there are lots of people that are opening cheaper cash in the UK and US to send money back home.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but on road, I've not heard anybody saying that they're using cheaper to send money to family members.
It's still the usual suspects, World Remit and Co.
Exactly. Then there's now the virtual card, which is what they're pushing actively. So they probably make FX spread when you're topping up, and when you withdraw, they probably make like some change there. But essentially, it's like they have a lot of things where they're not. I don't think they're actively making a lot of money. I mean, I'm not even trying to be a hater, but from outside looking in, when you look at their different possible revenue streams, unless there's something that we are seeing, also unless there's something that they have that we are not seeing. But from the outside, I don't think there's a lot of channels from which they are currently making money. And they are very, I mean, in some corners they're branded as a Nigerian company, but they really don't have any Nigerian ties.
I at some point, why did I think that he had an MFB license?
I think they're trying to apply for one. Either they're trying to apply for one, or they've already got it, or they've bought somebody. But again, so just a lot of these things are now. Then why say they're another thing? Why even mention the based in Nigeria thing? Because there's the Nigerian arbitrage where you're raising VC money in USD, but you're paying people in Naira, and you're paying people like Nigerian bank salary. So you're not really like burning through your buck like that, because FX is in your favor. They are not based here, so it's a different dynamic. I think most of their hires are outside, which means
No, they have a Nigerian.
I mean, they have a
Nigerian presence.
They have a Nigerian
And
presence.
they pay people in Naira.
They have a Nigerian presence, but it's not a significant Nigerian presence.
Yeah.
I mean, most of you look at their deck. I mean, from their website, a lot of their senior execs are Igbo. So
Can we even say that on this podcast? It just feels like a dirty thing to say.
To say that exactly.
Yes, they are exactly how it's not the only way, it's how he says it.
I mean, it's what it is now. If you gauge it,
See, the execs are
you're paying those people market price. So you're paying people market price in their country, but you're making money in local
currency,
local
Raz,
money.
which is Raz.
So you will now start, because from what I've heard, they've kind of wound down a lot of things. Crypto, they reduced the team, and a bunch of other experimental things they were doing. They've kind of trying to hone in on their strengths, which is what every company in this period is doing. So they've lost. The last round was a down round. The one that they didn't really mention was the last money they raised was a down round. If they are raising, I'm suspecting they are trying to raise again.
Another down round.
And the valuations is one of the conditions, like, you guys have to let go of some of your bloats.
So the thing for me is like, well, I guess nobody saw the crypto winter coming. So I'll give them that, because the thing for me is as someone that is outside
Nobody?
of tech. I mean, well, okay. Let me not say nobody. Okay, let me not say nobody. Sorry. Okay, let me say people chose to have hope and
Correct.
be positive and project optimistically.
And avoid FUD.
See,
Yeah.
as soon as people could go to the clubhouse again, that's when we should have started fearing that, yes, this crypto. Because again, a lot of it is, and I think a lot of people in even all these crypto industries and even in fintech and startups,
They don't understand.
they don't understand like how things work in, like, from
If you zoom out.
if you zoom out from a macroeconomic thing.
Yeah.
Now, there were zero interest rates. I mean, it's not a running joke. Zero interest rate phenomenon. There were zero interest rates, which means if you look at asset fund managers and co, they were not getting returns, tangible returns anywhere else. So if you wanted tangible returns, you took on
High risk.
and
Crypto and co.
so you see lots of things. Then there was now, when
venture
Biden
capital.
was sharing free money, there was lots of idle money in that period. And now that outside has opened, economy is tough. So
And I think one, and if we can segue a bit into this crypto bit, I think there is a fundamental problem with how crypto bros view themselves. They see, in my mind, I feel like they see themselves as like alternative to finance, when in reality you are bound by the very same principles that govern established financial institutions. In fact, even more severely, because there is nothing underlying about anything that you're doing.
yeah, institutions didn't get into crypto because they believed in decentralized money. Institutions got into crypto because they're getting better returns.
Arbitrage.
Yeah,
Correct. But you know that rates don't last forever. I mean, even if the government is more
we lived through double-digit T-bills in Nigeria.
what?
If you told me,
17%.
that we would never get 17% T-bill rate, I called you a fool.
Yeah.
T-bill was the surest buck you would ever make in this country. That we had guys like BlackRock and co pushing
That was a
money
sweet
inside.
time.
Mutual funds were doing like 15, 16%. It was crazy. And today, I think they are rising again, but at some point they were down to like 3, 4.
Yes, and I was like 3, 4, sub 5 for a long period.
But another segue, if crypto bros are making such rookie errors, how about guys like Silicon Valley Bank that should be a bank? Like, we expect that you guys should be a bit more.
So this
As a
guy,
properly regulated
Yes.
entity.
so it's not as if they did anything illegal. It was just stupid.
Didn't they invest in those same, like the same asset classes from 2008, those same mortgage
So it was more,
backed securities?
yeah, but it was like bonds are like reliable, like they are reliable instruments to investing. And like Matt Levine had like a very good thing on it, where it's like the problem with Silicon Valley Bank is other people did this, invested in the same thing. The bigger banks did the same thing, but they are diversified enough
Concentration risk.
to chest it. Now, these guys their niche was startup. They highly optimized for startups. I mean, they're a normal bank, but because of the location and whatnot, they just highly optimized. founder friendly, etc. etc. Now you have a lot of these guys that when they raise money, they put it in. They are not taking any debt, so they were not really lending. And the only way you can, and the only other option was then was like, okay, let's just go and play
Treasury
treasury
operations.
operations and make some money off that. Now, again, they now I won't say they overdid it, but they overdid it in the sense that they were highly concentrated in that because I was seeing it somewhere. It was like it wasn't just them that aped into bonds, but it's just other guys have a loan book and other sources that if they lose if the interest rate risk crystallizes, they can chest it. These guys, as soon as their own crystallized, they needed to raise some more money, and their CEO kind of didn't really handle the comms really well. There would not have been because it's one thing if there would not have been a run if the guy didn't mishandle this thing. It would have just been a normal. It's very normal for banks to not have enough cash. That's why there's overnight lending. If word of every overnight lending came out in Nigeria, for example,
That's what will happen. because again, and you said it, they are optimized for a niche space, and these guys have the same VCs and the same advisors and the same circles and the same WhatsApp groups, and then somebody says,
they lost
these guys said they don't have cash.
42 billion moved out in one day.
And to be honest with you, this is where even, and I'm going to say this thing now as a joke, but I'm jokingly serious. Do you think you can remove 42 billion naira from a Nigerian bank in one day and your RM will not hold that money?
There will be downtime.
The downtime will appear.
know.
Maybe we are crazy here. You just be removing money. No, you are going to stay until we do overnight lending to sort out the situation. But when you automate everything, I don't know, man.
And one thing that because there's in Nigeria we have this thing where banks are supposed to have like capital reserve or something,
cash reserve,
something. I think the equivalent of it for some regional banks, there was some law that Trump passed where they didn't really have to do all that stuff. I mean, details, I haven't really read too much on it, but there weren't those controls to prevent this kind of thing from happening because effectively those banks kind of lobbied against those controls. So the shege they are seeing is the shege of their own doing.
Man.
Now, to connect it to African startups, if you do Stripe Atlas, Stripe Atlas is usually the way most people register company. At least
Delaware core.
At least until maybe this year. Stripe Atlas used to recommend two different banks, Mercury and Silicon Valley Bank. As per this is a sharp way. Oh, you've done your registration. This is a sharp way to get bank account. Silicon Valley Bank does not ask you for social security number. So I suspect there will be
contagion into Nigeria.
Exactly. Might not be a lot because, I mean, depending on who you ask.
So you're under 250k is insured now. You get that full money.
But that
from the FDIC.
Now, to get, again, that's what most people, it's not as if to get under 250k is easy. Like if a Nigerian bank, if any bank should pack up, there'll be proceedings for you to get your money. Now, if you're a paper company and you are based in Nigeria, I'm sure there's, call this phone number, log your case here, blah, blah, blah. You are here, you are a different time zone, you are not on ground.
No, but to be fair, they will sort people.
What will you? They will sort people.
They will sort people.
They will sort people. I'm saying the African startups that are affected, they might see more shiggy than the normal guys.
Yeah, but apart from that, the normal guys already seem plenty shiggy. I'm seeing founders tweeting about having to move payments for services and stuff to their personal credit cards.
And that also has tax implications, particularly in the US. Yeah. Like if you suddenly move your business finances into your personal, you'll have significant tax implications.
Brex is offering, I guess, working capital financing to companies that have been impacted. And I think they've received over $1 billion in requests.
let me just let you know. Anybody that's offering loans to this kind of companies, there's an underlying shiggy you can see. Because if you are trying to be friendly and ecosystem friendly,
No, it's not ecosystem friendly. It's actually a legging, right? If, particularly for the guys who are going concerns, Nosa, if you help them bridge this shortfall,
that's
you
good.
eat.
But not everybody is going concern.
Not everybody is a going
Now,
concern.
how do you do such quick turnaround risk assessment on who is a valid business and who is not a valid business?
My brother in Christ,
Because
you
there are,
wish,
because
wish-
there are also lots of
Push up on your shooting star.
there are also lots of business models that are not valid at all that just raise VC money. Are you going to lend to that person
Just because
they raise VC money?
in more humorous news about managing risk, Janice Atentokumpo,
Oh my god.
my guy had over 50 bank accounts with no more than 250k.
I hope you know that
them.
Janice has a Nigerian father that went through Greek financial crisis.
meltdown.
I'm very sure that has impact on how he's approached money.
Scream. Nah. It's crazy. It's like it's a perfect storm of everything. Crypto winter, run on SVB, macroeconomic problems. There's talk of a recession. Outside is open again, so tech stocks are
Down.
are
There's
down.
just so
Like,
much
everything
that's
is just
going
happening.
on. Even another guy's bank that affected is Silvergate. Silvergate was the main crypto bank, was essentially like their key on ramp. And as far as African startups are concerned, plenty of people offering USD virtual accounts were offering Silvergate accounts. Rise launched their USD virtual account funding one day. The next day, Silvergate packed up.
You'll be
The
getting
day
a
after,
new account.
you'll be getting a new account. Now imagine all the integration efforts they put to do that integration, only to just wake up one morning and see bank has packed up.
Yeah.
Even Gray Finance sent message, we are working on new partner. There's a lot of ripple effect on, like downstream ripple effect on,
Yeah.
But the main difference for me is that companies based in America, institutions based in America so with Silver Valley Bank as well, companies based in the UK will receive support from the government, etc., etc. African founders, it's between you and your God.
I mean,
There's no support.
maybe more of them needs to start chasing government contracts, like doing beavers for the Nigerian government, because you need a second stream of income.
We're not going to talk
This is my segue. No, sir, I
we're not
refuse
talking
to be
about-
silenced.
This is not a political
No, sir,
podcast.
I did not inherit the silence of my fathers. Please let me speak my
Laolu,
truth.
I think you can
Let me speak my
you
truth.
can express your feelings at the polling station
Let me
On
speak.
Saturday.
on Saturday.
See, I'm not saying that you people should vote for my candidates, but I need you guys to vote. And I also need you to,
I actually think you should campaign for a candidate if you are going to.
I don't have a
This
candidate.
is a very random thing.
for
Sha.
governorship.
I feel a lot of get your PVC comms were very misguided because I think people were trying to be neutral too much. If I was the one and I had skin in the game, is get your PVC to vote for my guy.
Yeah.
I'm not doing. We'll be doing PVC concerts. I'm not doing PVC concerts. I'm doing rally, and in my rally, we'll be helping you get PVC.
That's all well and good, but
I know people that hosted like come get your PVC.
I
parties
just
in their
need you
houses.
people to know that for these governorship elections, some people will try to be violent. My only prayer is that if you try to snatch a ballot box, they should beat you into a coma in that place. That's my. If you listen to this podcast and you are the one helping people to snatch ballot boxes, if they beat you, just know that Laolu called it. That's all I will say. In other news and in less serious news, because Nosa has silenced me.
Yes.
Sanwo-Olu is all over the internet.
Oh my God! This is not another news.
He is all over the internet. He's
This
in
is
front
not-
of churches.
He's supporting crypto.
He's supporting crypto in the middle of crypto winter. He said that he will ride on the power of the blockchain and cryptocurrency. No, sir, I just need you to know that that's a man on a mission to secure destiny.
I will not be speaking on this. Anyway, I would like to segue into
Oh
the
my
next
God.
relevant topic that's not political. Speaking of Shege, the last 2-3 weeks, Nigerian fintechs and banking have been shown the most Shege. I think I've received the most apology letters from all the founders. We are sorry, our payment services are down. And in my mind, it's like, I thought of you were saying we are better than banks. Our payments don't fail. Open accounts. Open accounts with us. And they too have seen the shege of their lives. The shege of their life. I think just last week alone,
I saw Brass's apology.
Brass has sent apology. Vela Finance has sent apology. Payday Standard, I know that their chaotic com strategy has been chaotic.
Who was that in the DMs of a customer saying you're not ready for international banking? That's a major segue.
That's paper. What's it called? Payday
It's
CEO.
Payday CEO. It's Payday CEO.
This has been a very fascinating.
I
last
said, my
couple
guy,
of weeks.
please put the field there. I beg you in the name of God, or do your engineering and allow people submit PVC. Is a valid means of ID.
You say you're not ready for
international.
international banking.
What do you mean they are not ready for international
dead.
banking? God of mercy, you guys stress me. in
There's
this
even that
ecosystem.
cheaper cash on the cheaper cash customer support.
Customer support. Do you know I sent that thing to our VP for client experience in the office and I begged her. Then she forwarded it to her agent. I was like, please, don't ever even get the idea. Like, is this supposed to be human based?
This has been the funniest couple of weeks because
Banking with human.
He said this is the human touch.
the funniest couple of weeks, and it's just, and I think what a lot of, I don't know, I feel like maybe the founders know, but like it's like that thing we were talking about for like fintech marketing, where you guys, fintech people that do fintech marketing don't really understand what their products are. Like if you're building a payment solution that is on top of, you don't have a license and you're riding on maybe somebody else's rails,
They don't know that.
you're always tweeting, reliable transfers over here, reliable transfers over here.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that, boss.
Then when NIP pack up, yeah, we are sorry, our payment partner
NIP
is
does not
having
even
issue.
need to pack up. The bank just needs to off. A graduate trainee in that bank, and because all banks are on-prem, graduate trainee just needs to upload nonsense into and break the application.
And the way they say is that
Break the API.
well, our payment partner is having an issue right now. Baba, who is your payment partner? Say it, speak out, speak up.
See, I feel like in this market, and I may be saying this from like a privileged position, but your big aim, especially as you grow, should be to have your own direct connections to everybody that matters. All this building on top of people is a recipe for tears.
I feel like people have seen the tears.
Because, and I remember when Kuda cards that they were cussing you guys out.
on Zenith Bank. I remember there was some reporter that messaged me, said, I'm doing an article on Kuda cards. Transactions are always failing. I was like, I don't understand. Zenith Bank transaction always failing. It's a Zenith Bank card. Are you doing an article on Zenith Bank? Zenith Bank branches are not open this period. Their core banking has been down for a month. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because, and as long as you are bound to that bank, there is nothing you can do. As long as you are bound to that provider, or you have a provider that is serving different people, but he too is accountable to somebody
else.
So when that person shuts him off, like the relationship between these guys in our ecosystem that are in trouble again, and the likes of MasterCard and Union 54 and all of that, you are at the mercy of everybody's good behavior.
Speaking of Union 54, you know how sometimes people are like, virtual card for these guys is reliable, unlike these guys. And my man was like,
but they're always the same
using
provider.
the same provider.
So,
You know what you mean? If provider has issue, they all have issue.
but again, I guess that's I don't know. The thing is, like, I guess there's some situations where founders kind of want to go fast, so you don't want to spend the time building out everything. And there's a phase and there's a time for that. But then as soon as you can, you need to, where possible, own.
Oh, me personally, I understand going to market fast. I mean, and eventually you must bring your things,
In-house.
your core business in house. But what I don't like is fintech marketing. I absolutely detest fintech marketing because it's always.
But I think that's the thing. People
$4
don't
million,
people don't
eh?
understand. Sorry, people don't understand the. I think founders do not understand the importance of their marketing function. So they don't take as much care in hiring somebody that just doesn't understand marketing but also understands product. Because you must understand the product to be able to sell the product. But then I find that it's kind of like an afterthought in most companies. Marketing is one of those teams that is not really prioritized the same way they will take time out to hire the right product.
And do you know another thing that I feel like many of them are wildly unprepared for? When you do become big, right, and your regulator is now very invested in your business, even how you market, the treating customers fairly policy.
I've no CPD has not done audits before now.
Hey.
This CPD should do audits.
See, when you go through, I've been through one CBN audit personally, and ask Nosa and Furo, that week I was ready to quit fintech. It is a bloody thing. So you will explain to, they will print out your tweet.
Did you tweet this?
They will print out your tweet for you and say you told your customers that your product can do so. Show us.
No, so I'll tell you one interesting thing. $20 limit, right? A lot of people are marketing, no more $20 limits on cards. Now, their cards are USD domiciled cards. Like, so they are virtual. The provider is an American company that's essentially offering the service. This means that you cannot use that USD domiciled card to do Apple Store Nigeria. You already know that Apple Store Nigeria there are certain poor discounts that they give us. So Apple Music is cheaper relatively. Spotify is cheaper relatively. Amazon Prime is cheaper relatively. Switching to a virtual card that's domiciled there means you have to switch your app store to there. Now you go from paying 1,000 naira for Apple Music to paying $10 for Apple Music.
Like 7.5.
That is 7.5. You've 7x your cost because somebody yarned you without $20 limits. Again, there are lots of things that are very misleading in the marketing that you only find out at the door.
Yeah, and it's a violation of treating customers fairly.
Because if I use my DOM account, my Standard Chartered DOM account, the card from my Standard Chartered DOM account to pay for Apple, whatever, I still get my 1,000 naira.
Yeah.
Because it's still a Nigerian card.
The bin is
a Nigerian bin, so I can use it for the Nigerian store.
No, so I feel like you need to explain what a bin is.
Is bank identification number. It's like first digits of your card. Well, we can if we start now. But yeah, so there's a lot of all these marketing things, and when I see it, I just like cringe a bit because it's like, it's just that these guys don't know this business that they're doing.
That's why they tell you. Let's say something very rubbish. Follow who no road. The reality is that you as a user need to think a bit more critically. You can't also just be carried away with every marketing.
It's like that time now where Kyoshi was doing
Timber and Caliber.
What's it called?
Oh God.
They banks reduce their bank rate, and Kyoshi, a P2P FX exchange thing, is talking about, this is why we are here for you. I was like, but you're not a card.
But they said you should use them to fund your dollar card in Nigeria.
Is that not clown activity? Is that not clown activity? Because how does a user seeing it off glance, like with your call to action, does not tell me that I still have to open DOM account to fund?
Sir, please, I'm not ready to fight this fight. I'm tired, to be honest.
I have a big problem with fintech marketing. It's always so misleading. It's always so ignorant.
Yeah. In any case, everybody will be fine. You either grow big enough to adjust or you won't. The fintechs that have matured, it's showing in the way they run their ads, it's showing in the way they run their businesses. We've had a couple of them that have seen life on this podcast, and their perspectives are very, very different. Those are businesses that you know that this one is a
They'll
going
stand the test
concern.
of
Yes,
time,
they'll
yeah.
stand the test of time. They'll probably become systematically important because they are playing the game the way the Nigerian market demands. And for most other people, we all know that those businesses are not going anywhere. It is the harsh reality of startups. Most of them will die. The question is now, are you going to be one of those that will die?
You know who will not be fine? The
Oh,
100
Jesus
or so
Christ.
people that
Oh,
Flutterwave has blocked their account.
Jesus Christ. What is going on with Flutterwave? Like, I don't even want to. I don't want to have an opinion.
They've been like subbing
I
themselves.
think it's growing pains.
They've been subbing
It's not
themselves on
Furo,
Twitter.
no.
Tech journalism and
Furo,
tech
no.
bros. They'll be
First
like,
things
oh,
first.
these guys are very immature.
First things
This is not
first.
how you do
First
it.
things first. I saw tech bros complaining
About
that
reporting
the
the way-
reporting quality is down.
Those
And I know that publications are using 1 week to get one quote from you guys. So it's not like as if the publications are entirely to blame. The culture of information sharing and transparency too is a problem within that circle. So you deserve what you get, essentially, is the point that I'm making. Yes, tech publications write articles like Olori Burukus that don't know anything. But in many ways, they too are being enabled by your lack of willingness
to speak.
to be transparent and to speak. Yes, control the narrative, but also respond to people.
Can never, the Nigerian startups, transparent. Can never. It's impossible. Impossible to be transparent.
And Furo, to your point about Flutterwave growing pains, this is not growing pains again. They wrote
grown.
article now. They wrote article.
They said
Shey
that-
Wendy published something that they shared that nothing was hacked, that there were some vulnerabilities on some merchant accounts, and they identified. In fact, I'm going to tell you something interesting about the architecture outside of this podcast. That they saw vulnerabilities and then they notified the merchants and then nothing was lost, like they remediated it. But you are right.
How can you?
You are writing to
You see,
police
so you see, my thing is
and blocking accounts.
my
court.
thing was, see, there might not have been a hack. Maybe there was a hack. Maybe there was no hack. Maybe it was true. The merchants got compromised, but 2.9 billion moved, and you are telling me we've remediated. You have not remediated this thing. The fight is still ongoing. There are like 100 people with blocked accounts, and
But that's what I'm saying. It's growing pains. If you have not, like, it's experience in
Also, those
handling
blocked accounts
situations
cannot
like
be
that.
blocked in perpetuity.
Yeah, it's experience in
It's
handling
timed.
situations
At some
like
point, they will banks will unblock it.
Mr. Ayedele, I will let you know that though it is possible. I understand they say, oh, bring court order, blah blah blah. They will.
No, because it depends on whose accounts you have blocked.
Again, exactly. It depends on whose account they are blocked. The people that they are blocked are usually they partake in crypto.
They do partake.
They do partake in crypto. So when they are doing enhanced due diligence, they cannot come out to their chest and say, this is what I do. So they are now stuck.
See,
And they can only shout on the internet.
I don't know what the problem is. I'm not going to sit here and act like I have all the answers. But I feel like, in fact, let me just keep going. Because
See,
quite
let
frankly,
me just say, there's a certain demographic in this country. I know the standard laws is you can only pay in the account for, what's it called, 48 hours before you bring without court order. I've seen accounts being PND'd for like 1 year without court order.
Yeah.
It's the person that said they should PND the account.
They might.
They might. So whenever banks have issue like, we had glitch, people transferred 100 million overnight. Those accounts, they don't bring court order. They'll refund all the money before the PND goes.
yeah. I'm just saying, child, that's look, I don't know, man. And fraud in this market is at this point it is a feature. It is a feature, not a bug. Our work, we ask, is not a matter of how do we prevent fraud. It's a matter of to what extent
What type
can
of-
we Exactly.
What type of fraud?
What type of fraud
do
can
we not want?
Do we not want? But the assumption that you will not have fraud, that one is a lie. It will happen. If it is not your system and that's what you want it to be,
Nigerian
it must not be
Fintech-
your own system.
Nigerian fintech has an incestuous relationship with fraud.
Yeah.
They will not admit it, but they know the truth. Everybody punches out for that. I beg, let's know in my system that glitched.
See, and you know the interesting thing, as somebody now who is getting into payments at work, the cost of fraud tools is an incentive to not use them, but it's a double-edged sword. Because if you don't use those fraud tools,
The cost down the line.
the potential because if the especially if you are somebody who is regulated, like CBN guys know your office address, they can show up any day and say, open this thing for me, let's be looking at it. The cost of not having it in place is problematic. So maybe you want to get smart, right? If you have like closed loops, you can say, okay, I will not pass some of these transactions through fraud tools, maybe because it's like a closed loop, maybe like a port or something. But even then,
Yeah.
Fraud do happen.
I'll let you know from regulator's perspective, all you just need is KYC. As soon as you collect KYC on the customer and you did suspicious transaction reporting, I've done my part.
yeah, but that's if you are doing suspicious transaction reporting now.
But that's the thing.
Because that's an operational
How can
suspicious transaction. The number of things you have to report.
Wait now, it's better to do that one than to be buying machine learning algorithm to detect fraud. My friend, be serious. Do you think they are doing billion in transaction volume without
Not even
fraud?
ML.
And where
It's not
the
even
fraud-
ML. They are just simple logic.
Where the fraud,
that those tools look
where
out
the
for.
fraud sits sometimes, it's not even in the high value transaction. It's small value transaction. So
Yeah,
it doesn't even
word.
justify. Eventually, the volume of it then becomes an issue. But then monitoring, you want to be monitoring 5,000 naira transfers and 2,000
doesn't
naira
make-
transfers.
I've seen some contracts for like fraud tools or like some propositions, and I'm like,
It's ridiculous. And those people, they price you as if you raise VC money. Like, so on some of these calls, I remember I was talking to some KYC guy that I was like, he was bringing Monzo, Revolut. I said, bro, I've not raised Monzo money. I'm in Lagos. Can you calm down? Whether
I've
you
seen
work for Monzo,
somebody-
it's not my business.
somebody wanted to bill us $5 million for a mobile app. I'm not joking.
What's wrong with people?
And then they said, they also know that it's kind of like giving the market this, that they can give us discounts. Our response was, there's no discount. There's no, see, even at $500,000,
We're
we
not
still
buying.
have a problem with this thing. It is crazy how some service providers bill you. But again, for fintechs, I guess they will determine what is important. to
Look,
them.
it's just like fraud. Crypto is another thing. You just have to say, this is the kind of crypto I like. This is the kind of crypto I don't like.
And then you just have to stay on your toes to keep
And just
learning.
stay on your toe. Keep
the
learning
new
the new type
types.
of crypto.
But
And
Nosa, even the
adjusting.
crypto, see what's happening with USDC. You and I have had conversations about USDC and some use cases. See what is it's not a stable coin.
I'm talking of even on, because you know when CBN is firing guys, you should not do crypto. You just have to know which type of crypto you want.
Oh yeah.
Providence is a big
yeah.
crypto bank. Hopefully, I'm not trying to snitch, but it is.
Can I leave this in?
If
there?
you look at, you can do it. If you look at that Flutterwave, the report where they were listing the account, everybody Providence, business account. The Providence tell you that, oh yes, he's a merchant, he's a trader, he buys cement. It's cement. What is he trading?
But do you know that even all
Somebody
that
is moving
thing,
50 million, 100 million.
even that thing, see, guys, I don't know how Providence, because this information is just reaching me on this podcast. But I know that if a merchant says that this is what they are doing, and what they are doing doesn't tally with their volumes, you should report. You should be reporting it.
You do, Nigerian banks will not report it. They'll just allow the RM is this good customer.
Because
The person that they report is the person that does transaction and puts Bitcoin in narration.
no, but it doesn't.
They'll say, we have blocked the account.
It's not even the RM that should be
this is a
reporting,
crypto
because you should
trader.
have a financial
Reporting.
Yeah, like a team that tracks all these things. But in any case, good luck to everybody. This market is tough. You guys are doing a thankless job.
Why
I
even
wish you
bring
the
up the
best.
crypto, the RM thing? Because remember when Luno launched, the first account they opened was Stanbic because South African brothers. That when they said we are not opening crypto accounts, if you see how the RM kept saying, but the business they are doing, it's not really crypto.
My guy looking at his bonus. His bonus was slipping away.
He yawned it.
Man. Man. So again, there's that human side to this fraud thing as well. Because again, a lot of the fraud that we see in the markets, like we're seeing a lot of insider activity. And it's just a heavily incentivized industry at this point. Because you work, your guy will call you stupid, call you foolish. At the end of the month, you collect 250K. And then you can just give one guy a small backdoor information and you just collect 3 million naira like that.
Maybe needs to call me, if he wants to crack that, I can tell him where everybody is hiding.
No comments.
If you call me for e-naira and call me for fraud.
I said there were some people that will soon start reporting. I need to remember to create my snitch
You said we were still
email.
going to do Open Africa snitching.
My
You said-
snitch email.
Yes,
I'm
please.
creating it today.
If you have any competitors that
with
you know that is
Proton email.
doing,
If you have competitors that you know that they are doing rubbish, DM us.
DM us. I will yarn it on the show casually, like the way we yarn providers.
Me is email that I'm going to send to the Central Bank of Nigeria that I'm calling your attention to this company. This is their office address. This is their CEO's address. This is Twitter handle. See what he said yesterday.
Obviously, we're joking.
Jokingly serious.
Cast your competition.
Oh my god.
Cast them. This is how you win in this industry. Cast them.
Yeah, I've seen so many dirty things happen in this industry. But anyways, I believe that's all for today.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nosa,
Until the next episode.
elections in Nigeria.
Oh god.
Please, can we end the episode here?
Elections in Nigeria.
Episode is over.
Nigeria,
Background
you have
music.
done your worst.
This is the background music.